probably. So, but I guess that's whatever.
Let's get some lavish. See how many.
Yesterday we had to play today, so how the map works. Hey guys, so this is basically the build guide on the Culling Strike Monk. Everything that you see on the screen is what you need to get this build to work. A lot of them is pretty easy to get to. Other things is a little bit more expensive, but the max percentage of this Culling Strike increased that you need to make this build work efficiently is you need to get up to a 400% increase, which you can get done really well with the gloves and the helmet, which are 2 musts, and then everything else you got to get with either the Heart of the Well, the passive nodes, and then the support gem. Alright, to give you the math, these gloves give you a base 200, and they give you a base 200 because gain 1 Fear Incarnate when you cull a target. For each Fear Incarnate grants 10% increased Culling Strike threshold that lasts 10 seconds. This duration is refreshed when you gain another Fear Incarnation. You can have up to a maximum of 200 Fear Incarnate. So basically that's 10 times 20, which is 200. So that's base. That's where our starting ground is. You're going to need to get these 2 passive nodes, which is right here and right here, which is a total of 45 as is right there. You need to get the support gem on whatever move that you want to do the Culling Strike to. So gain 20% increased Culling Strike threshold for 20 seconds on culling with supported targets. You get this automatically just by culling the first target and building it up from there. And then the 2 things that you have to look for are this and the Heart of the Well, and the percentages for this increased Culling Strike threshold between these 2 pieces of equipment have to add up to at least 135%. Otherwise, you won't get to that percentage. So once you get all that situated, you use a move like Killing Palm. What it does is dash to an enemy and strike them, calling enemies as if their life is low enough, and performing an additional dashing strikes to other cullable targets in range if the target was called. So basically what it does is once you call an enemy, you strike up to any additional enemies that are right next to it, and you immediately call them right after. So it doesn't matter if it's 1, 2, 3, it doesn't matter how many are within the area, it'll keep continuing the chain as long as they are able to be called, given the effect like Flicker Strike. The benefit towards this over Flicker Strike is you do not need to consume power charges. You do not need to build power charges. Actually, while this move is being used, you are generating power charges, which helps for things like using Falling Thunder against rares or uniques, and you build this up for damage and stuff like that. So this is my clearing. This is what I use to clear. The nodes that I use is Rage 3. I build Rage while using this. Might as well do it. Plus the increased attack speed if you're not at max. It helps to start the culling kill. It doesn't really give you the most amount. You really don't need the attack speed once you start culling because you just completely dash forward. Then Thrill of the Kill. This is a big plus and something that you should definitely put in. 25% of damage is lightning damage for 8 seconds on culling an enemy. This does not stack, but this continues the buff. While you have this, you're going to have Culling Strike to give you the additional 20% increased Culling Strike threshold that you need. So this is a must. You have to have this on just to get up to the max. While you're at it, you might as well throw Charge Profusion in to get 30% additional charges. Even if you're not consuming the charges, this is still a big benefit, and I'll show you why in just a little bit. And then Embitter. I use this to try to like freeze mobs. So while I'm getting Thrill of the Kill, the lightning damage, the gain is extra, it's becoming cold damage with Embitter to hopefully proc more freeze to slow targets down and whatnot. It helps with survivability when it comes down to being a melee build. So the reason why I use Charge Profusion too is because the 15% chance to grant an additional random charge. That helps because if you're constantly generating charges, you're constantly having all 3 charges with you at all times. And that helps in a sense when you use something like charge regulation, where more crit hit chance, more armor, evasion, and energy shield, and more skill speed are in effect towards having this on. This is like just the biggest quality of life spirit gem to have while doing this entire build. It's really efficient. I strongly recommend using this no matter what. As for when it comes down to uniques and rares, I'm using Falling Thunder. Again, I'm already building up power charges. Might as well use it to slap a big hit onto the rares that I can't cull. And with that, I'm using Blindside. How this build basically works is I'm building as much crit to the point where I crit 100% of the time. And that's how the passive tree is made. That's how all my skill gems are put together. So I have Blindside to get more crit hit chance and more damage bonus. Culmination. This is a big damage increase because while you're actively flying around with killing Palm, you're gaining combo. And supported skills gain up to a 10 combo. Supported skills expend all combo on use. Supported skills lose combo if they generate no combo for 6 seconds. But this last line, a supported skill deals 4% more damage per combo expended. What basically that is 10 times 4 equals 40. That's 40% more damage. While doing that as well, because I'm constantly generating rage, I use Rage 2. Supported skills spend 10 Rage if possible to deal 35% more damage. Again, that's more damage on top of more damage. That's nice. Fist of War. Ancestral Boosted. Boosted Slam has 30% more damage and 25% increased area of effect, but it's nice quality of life given more area and more damage. And then Nova Projectiles. I swapped this out with this. If I were to do bosses like on Arbiter and stuff like that, I'd probably want to swap this out because this basically doubles your damage with the projectiles that it shoots out. It's very nice. The only downside is that there is a cooldown that it adds. I swapped this out specifically because when I'm constantly going after rares while mapping, I'm there waiting for a cooldown for a while, and it's just kind of inefficient. And so I slapped on Nova Projectiles so that I fire in a circle, kill everything around me as much as I can. And yeah, that's how I go from there. As for building combo with bosses, I use Ice Strike and Mantra of Destruction. This is also how I generate the power charges for Ice Strike. I use Rage 3. Build Rage, same thing. If I'm not using Killing Palm, I'm using this for bossing, so I want to build Rage while I'm bossing. Rapid attacks to build that combo a lot quicker. Concentrated area. This is just more damage to add to it. It's not really... you can swap this out with whatever you want to put. Cold Entombment. This is just gain more cold damage is really what it is. And then Embedder. I'm using this because things like Killing Palm or with Thrill of the Kill, I'm gaining 25% of damage as lightning. This is swapping it over to extra cold damage, so I might as well just throw it in there. Not all the time. I don't think this is really necessarily beneficial for bossing, but any additional clear with mapping towards trying to build combo and stuff like that, this is just, I don't know, seems a little bit more efficient. You could probably swap this out for something else. And for Mantra of Destruction, this is what I use to expend the combo to gain power charges using the Alias Chime and what is it? Alias Chime and just expending combo in general. So Mantra of Destruction is requires 8 combo to use. Lose all combo when you generate no combo for blah 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 8 seconds. And powered attacks gain percent of damage as chaos. With the additional quality is not something that you want to get because what you want to do with this is it requires 8 combo to use. When you use combo, surpassing chance to gain a power charge when expending combo while supported skills per combo expended. 25% chance. Basically what it does is when I expel the combo or use it, it gives me power charges. To build the combo up so you can get more power charges upon use is I use delayed gratification. Supports conditional skills can be used an additional time within 10 seconds of using them after meeting their requirements. The biggest thing with it is conditional requires the supported skills are 150% harder to meet. what it does is it brings this 8 combo up to 20. Basically, every single time I use this, I'm getting, if not 6, but my max 7 charges that I have, which helps with a bunch of damage. And on top of that, it just giving me the power charges I need for Falling Thunder to consume them. With that being said, another move that I'm using towards mapping and or bossing, just to empower attacks, it's really just a quality of life. You could probably go without charge staff, but it's very nice to have. I put shock in. I put blind 2. Blind 2 is a big thing that I use, so I can max up my rage for blindside with Falling Thunder. And that plus it's helps with defenses. It keeps accuracy low from enemies, so it's just nice to have. Culling Strike 2. The reason why I have this in is for when I'm doing any clearing with, say, like a ritual, and there's a rare that pops up. I can get their health down a good amount with the already stacked Culling Strike that I have, and adding this, basically once they get to that threshold, it instantly kills them. I don't have to worry about it, so it just kills them a little bit quicker, makes it a lot more, I don't know, efficient. Might as well just put it in if you can. And then Blazing Critical, attacks gain 15% of damage as extra fire damage on for 5 seconds on critically hitting with supported skills. Because I'm like constantly critting, this is constantly active, and with this being active, it's gaining more damage as cold damage for both this and this. So added cold damage. And then with that prolonged duration, I want to have this buff up as much as possible. As for spirits, for my mapping, I have Herald of Ash, Wind Dancer, Overwhelming Presence, Ghost Dance, Charge Regulation, and then the Hollow Focus, which it's nice, it's convenient, but and it's good for like building power charges before starting the map. But if I could go without this, I would, because it keeps teleporting me back to my bell instead of going forward. So and then for my main slot, I'm using Berserk, Wind Dancer, Ghost Dance, Charge Regulation, and again Hollow Focus. That's all my spirits. And so to go over that, the reason on why I use 2 quarterstaves, one's for clearing. It's literally just for clearing. It's infinite damage on the whites and the other mobs. So for me, it's the biggest thing is just attack speed, and then I crit hit chance, and then I can throw extra spirit in there to get additional bonuses and benefits. Other than that, you don't really need much damage on your second or side quarterstaff. I would, if anything, go for crit hit chance and attack speed, maybe plus the skills. It's not required. Again, it's infinite damage for whites and rares, so it's not really required. And then I have this as my big damage dealing quarterstaff. So I use this when I'm using Ice Strike and Killing Palm and nothing else. Except for Charge Staff, that's different. But everything else, basically, Falling Thunder and Mantra of Destruction, I'm using this quarterstaff. I'm gaining the benefits from this quarterstaff and using its damage percentage towards my damage dealing moves. The reason also why I'm doing this is because of weapon swapping. You can basically get up to an additional 24 different skill points that you can use in different ways. So while I'm mapping my main hand 2, which is the green, I'm gaining extra defenses. I'm putting extra in defenses. I'm putting extra in mana and everything. Mana on kill, percentage mana on kill, mana taken before life, all that stuff. I'm putting it into defenses because I don't need damage with it. It's infinite damage. I'm putting it just straight into defenses. Now, when I'm using my main quarterstaff for the Falling Thunder, I'm only Falling Thunder right when there's a rare. And then I go right back to Killing Palm or Ice Strike. Doesn't matter. And so my defenses are basically always up unless I'm using Falling Thunder. And then at the moment that I'm using Falling Thunder, I'm getting all the bonuses from all this crit damage and crit hit chance that I end up putting. From here to right here to even up in this quarterstaff area, I'm putting extra damage from my main. Same with this crit chance and crit hit damage node over here. All that's going straight to just the quarterstaff that's dealing the damage, right? Now, with that being said, The reason why I'm also using things like Herald of Ash for mapping, and then Overwhelming Presence for mapping, and then using Berserk for my main is Berserk gives I would say a con. It says lose a percentage of your maximum life per rage per second while not losing rage. Grants 60% increased rage effect. Grants an additional 10 with quality. Basically, this just gives you more damage for your rage, or increased damage for your rage, and it helps. So I'm building rage always with these two moves because of rage 3, and so I'm always at like 30 rage. And why not gain additional rage effect, aka the damage, while I'm using a move like Falling Thunder for the additional damage, and so that's what I'm doing with that. As for things like Overwhelming Presence and Herald of Ash, Herald of Ash and Herald of Ash is just a straight clearing. This has no benefit towards bossing because you don't kill when you're doing a bossing. And so it's there as a specific just to help clear. And it does help. This isn't something you need. It won't make or break the build, but this is definitely a quality of life spirit to use. And then Overwhelming Presence, if you have additional spirit, this is just the last thing I would put in. It just helps with ailment threshold and then stun threshold. It just helps with either freezing or stunning mobs a little bit quicker. It's not a make or break. You don't necessarily need this, but it's nice. It's just something I threw in. The biggest things that you should have is Wind Dance and Ghost Dance. You want to keep these on in both slots because these generate charges to be used when you weapon swap. So say if I Falling Thunder and I go right back to my other move, the charges will reset on both of these. And if you guys also don't know, Ghost Dance, 20% increased reservation efficiency. This not only works for the move, but it works for any socketed gem that you put in it. So if you have things like Clarity, Cannibalism, and other stuff like that you wanted to use that increase the spirit by a good amount, you also gain the benefit of Ghost Dance's reservation efficiency with these gems. So even though they gain spirit, you get the 20% reservation itself from both of these nodes and any other ones that you wanted to throw in. To go over any of my gear to help get to the to these nodes, I used a Struggle Scream Stellar Amulet. Basically, it helps me allocate so I can still build within my area, but it allocates everything that I need outside of it. You don't necessarily need this if you path to the other two skills that I've showed you, but this is definitely something if you want to just stay within your build range. What helped me is I managed to find a pair of these gloves which had one of these allocations already there included. So again, 20% increased Culling Strike threshold. These gloves itself give me 220. So this is a big plus to my build. This is just something that helps out. And then because Killing Palm is a strike skill right here, this Tribal Fury in the back over here helps with clear. Strike skills can be made to deal splash damage when hitting an enemy, causing an additional hit to other enemies around one hit by a strike. The radius of splash is 1.5 meters. What helps with this is that even if you're culling, the mobs around you are also being culled. So it's not they're not being killed, they're being culled, which means you gain the power charge benefits. So if there's like 3 mobs and you hit one, you get those 3 power charges plus whatever you get from charge perfusion. So it really helps. On top of that, any other bonuses, this is just things to add on. This is not stuff that you necessarily need to make or break. But what I do is I basically build my tree based on crit hit chance over crit damage. But once I get the crit hit chance to where I need it, I go to crit damage. As for my Ascendancy, the biggest thing that you definitely should go for is Martial Master. This is the ability to gain combo from all attack hits, and as well as Martial Adept. When you gain combo, gain additional combo. I use these tattoos basically before to help with reses, but I use these as other additional defensive nodes. except for the gloves. But deflection, reduce effect of curses, gain 5% of life as extra maximum runic ward. That's just like a defensive node. I was doing something else with it, but I really probably don't even need that. And then for this is just regenerate percentage of my maximum life per second. To finish off the gear, I use this chest piece that gives me my spirit that I need, because I don't get my spirit from my amulet, I get it from my chest piece. Plus evasion energy shield and a few reses. I'm getting most of my reses from this belt, including life, mana. Just nice to have. This helmet, both of these rings, which is giving me not only some damage, but it's giving me resistances and attribute requirements on both of them. Very nice to have. And then a big bonus is these boots. These boots help with the crit damage, especially since I'm building a lot of power charges with Falling Thunder already. Might as well maximize that. So I have +1 on maximum power charge, crit damage bonus per power charge. It's very nice to have for power charge stacking. On top of all these charms, these two you should definitely be able to get if you haven't. This one, it's quality of life. It's just easy for me to just go with it and everything. It's just a third filler slot that really helps for killing rares and uniques. It helps give me a buff with defenses, so it's nice to have. Other than that, build however you want with any of the other pieces that you want, whether you use these boots or not, doesn't matter. Aside from that, I guess I will show you guys how to efficiently work this build. You start off by killing a few whites. Now you have power charges, charge staff, and I'm already basically up to my max culling percentage right now. So blues, whites, everything just being called. All the blue that you see is just people that can be called. And then when it comes down to rares and uniques, Falling Thunder, basically get all my power charges back. And if I need power charges while I'm about to verse a rare and I don't have some, basically I can just use Mantra of Destruction and I got all my power charges. I've already built up enough combo. Mantra of Destruction. Build my combo. Mantra of Destruction. I have power charges. Falling Thunder. It really is easy to use. So that's my bossing strat. And then just I go right back to clearing. Now, the one thing that I've learned between what I'm doing and what other people would be doing is on the keyboard and mouse, I saw that you actually have to like click and move your mouse in order to target people. I play on controller, and so I literally have an auto aims for you. And so when I pull, it'll auto aim to the next guy. And that's the only difference that you'll end up seeing between mouse and keyboard and controller. Like, controller is always going to be more effective because you're snapping from one thing to another. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the build. I know I have. This thing's actually been pretty nice to work with now that they made it so you can actually do this internally. That's really nice. I've been having a blast this season. Yeah, I hope you guys liked the video.